afternoon. It's Tuesday, January 5th. I'm Laura Cornfield, and this is IBA News broadcasting from Jerusalem. 5 days after the deadly attack in Tel Aviv, and there appears to be no breakthrough in locating the whereabouts of wanted terrorist Nashat Milhem. Police this morning arrested a group of his relatives, including his father and sister. One of the two brothers previously detained has been placed under house arrest. Special security forces, soldiers, police, and Shin Bet security agents continue to scout the Gush Dan area. Speaking to reporters this morning, Police Chief Roni El-Sheikh broke the silence and stressed the importance of keeping all details concerning the investigation confidential. El-Sheikh said rumors and speculation only harm progress and endanger members of the security forces involved in the search. He called on the public in the Gush Dan region to stay calm. El-Sheikh spoke following a visit with the family of Alon Bakal, one of the two Israelis killed at the Tel Aviv pub. It was also revealed today that days prior to the Tel Aviv shooting rampage, Milhem visited the Dizengoff Street area twice. Calm returned to the streets of Herzliya this afternoon when police ended a massive search in the city for a 20-year-old East Jerusalem resident allegedly planning a terror attack. Ahmed Khatib of Tzur Bachar was arrested and taken for questioning after an alert citizen recognized him from photos published in the media and notified police. Khatib left his home this morning after arguing with his father, whom he told of his plans to perpetrate an attack. His abandoned car was found in the city center early this morning, sparking the massive hunt. Special Army and police forces, accompanied by Shin Bet security agents, searched the streets while a police helicopter hovered overhead. Security was bolstered at schools, daycare centers, and other institutions in the city. Meanwhile, the ongoing terror wave is showing no signs of abating. This morning, a 35-year-old Army reservist suffered stab wounds to his face and hand after he was attacked by a Palestinian terrorist brandishing a knife at the Gush Etzion junction. The dead Palestinian was later identified as 17-year-old Ahmed Kauzab from a village near Hebron. A soldier deployed in the area shot and killed Kauzab on the scene. Yesterday afternoon, there was another stabbing attack, this time in Jerusalem's Chaim Bar Lev Street, not far from police headquarters. Two people, including a 15-year-old girl and a young man, sustained light injuries trying to evade the attacker, who was identified as a 17-year-old resident of East Jerusalem. The assailant managed to flee the scene and was later shot in the legs by security forces, who tracked him down following a short chase. Controversy is growing over reports that Prime Minister Netanyahu may hold back the transfer of a recently approved 15 billion shekel aid package to Arab communities unless they agree to accept new law enforcement measures. The Prime Minister's office denied the move was made as an ultimatum, but confirmed that two Likud ministers were appointed to oversee the historic 5-year development plan designed to improve the Israeli-Arab standard of living. Both Tourism Minister Yariv Levin and Minister of Immigrant Absorption Zev Elkin said they were tasked to ensure the funds are allocated properly and rejected claims that the money will be withheld from local Arab authorities if they don't meet a series of conditions. Last week, the government approved the aid package aimed at boosting investment in education, infrastructure, culture, sports, and transportation in Arab areas that have long been neglected and are considered to be far from the same standard of Jewish citizens. Knesset member Anat Barko of the Likud party says that Nashat Milhem, the Israeli Arab suspected of carrying out the Tel Aviv attack, was not a lone wolf and probably has a strong network supporting him. Barko spoke with IBA's Ari O'Sullivan earlier today in the Knesset.
This terror attack, I think that it was well planned. He's not a lone wolf. We'll see the whole network around it. Somebody brought him to Tel Aviv. He knew the area. He's Arab citizen, Israeli citizen, so he knew the area. He was very familiar with the area, and somebody, I think, picked him up from the place and hide him. They're not lone wolves. We see the whole Hamula, the whole family involved in terrorism, and we see that this guy had a career of terrorism. He was in jail as a security prisoner. So it's not something that just start you wake up in the morning and say, oh, today I'll be a terrorist. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. The incitement that pours from the social media and social network, and we see the Facebook, Twitter, and other. It's not just because ISIS and Islamic Jihad and Hamas incite, and also the PA, as we know. It's also incitement from the Israeli Knesset members here in the Knesset.
Most of the attackers have been Palestinians from the West Bank, but the one in Tel Aviv was an Israeli Arab. What does that say?
I don't think that he's an exception, because we have almost 40 Israeli Arabs also went to join ISIS in Syria. So we have those jihad tourists also from Arab citizens. I'm very sorry about that. I don't think that the Arab citizens as a whole really committing terror. They know that they are loyal Israeli citizens, but we have those people who join terrorism, and also from inside. But the numbers are still very low numbers, so we have to hug the Arab citizens. They are with us. We have the same country, the same place, but they need to be aware that if they want to take care of their children, they need to prevent them from doing such a thing.
Israel's allocating 15 billion shekels for the Arab sector, and yet some people are saying that they should be conditioned on enforcing the laws, the building laws, the gun laws. What do you think?
We have the same codex of law, and we need to obey, all of us. And I think that law and order, it's basic also for the Arabs. And we see a lot of crime and traffic accidents inside villages because they do not obey the law. On the first place, it's something that hurt them, their life. And I'm sure that it's something that also comes from the Arab citizens. Why we need to hear shooting in the middle of a wedding? Why? It's dangerous, and not the first time people were killed. They come to celebrate, and they were dead after that. So it's obvious, and I think that we need to do that. And I think that the Prime Minister it's not something above the sky. It's something that they need to know. You want to be full citizens, and you're all the time speaking about democracy and equality. Equality starts from obeying to the law.
These attacks have been going on for over 3 months now. How do you think we should stop them?
To give more weapons to the citizen. Here, if we compare it to other countries, we have advantage. We served in the army. We know how to deal with weapons.
Knesset member Berko, are you saying that Israelis should be given more guns?
It's very difficult, and I think that it should be less difficult, because if a boy in the age, or my daughter, let's say, when she was in the army, she was weapon instructor for the infantry, and she had M16. So why she cannot carry a pistol?
Do you think there might be a danger of having incidents like in America of these mass killings, these school shootings?
Like America, because we wouldn't sell weapon in the supermarket. So, and we are dealing also and checking all this mental illness, and the access to weapon wouldn't be like in America, but it would be, and you have the record of everybody that served in the army. So if he could carry a weapon, or she could carry a weapon in the army, why they cannot carry a weapon when they're civilian?
Turning to the northern front, where forces remain on high alert in the wake of yesterday's explosion in the western section of Hardov, Hezbollah claimed responsibility for a powerful bomb that detonated near 2 armored military vehicles. No one was injured in the attack, and the army responded with cross-border artillery fire at Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Army spokesman Brigadier General Moti Almoz said 2 armored D-9 bulldozers were targeted in the attack. Media reports out of Lebanon said the army shelled the area near the town of El Wazani. The Hezbollah El Manar television station reported the attack was carried out by a group named after its commander, Samir Kuntar, who was killed last month in Damascus. Hezbollah has blamed Israel for Kuntar's killing, and top IDF officials assessed that the incident was carried out in an attempt to avenge his death. UNIFIL, the UN peacekeeping force in Lebanon, urged both sides to avoid an escalation and said it was increasing its patrols on the ground. Rabbi Yoshayahu Pinto is going to jail. The Supreme Court today rejected his appeal to convert the 1-year prison term he was sentenced to in May of last year to 6 months of community work. Pinto, who is considered one of the most famous and wealthiest rabbis in Israel, was convicted by the Tel Aviv District Court for accepting bribes and obstruction of justice as part of a plea bargain. The court also slapped Pinto with a 1 million shekel fine. The rabbi will begin serving his sentence on February 16th, just one day after former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert is slated to go to jail on charges of accepting bribes. A string of arrests in the Ashkelon municipality. A senior official, a number of his associates, and 2 prominent businessmen were detained today in what appears to be yet another corruption case. The top municipality official is suspected of receiving bribes and benefits from a known real estate contractor and a local newspaper owner in exchange for promoting their business affairs. At the same time, the main suspect is accused of sexual misconduct and sexual harassment against several women, some of whom are employed in the municipality. At this hour, the suspects are being brought before the Rishon LeZion Magistrates Court for an extension of their remand. Israel's Hebrew University of Jerusalem received a high grade on its Wikipedia report card after being ranked among the top 50 most influential universities worldwide, coming in at the coveted 47th spot. The Wikipedia list of top world universities is based on a computerized analysis of the number of times institutions of higher education are mentioned in Wikipedia. The new grading system applies algorithms used by Google search engines in all of Wikipedia's 24 different language editions. At the top of the list was Britain's Cambridge and Oxford, followed by American universities Harvard, Columbia, and Princeton. History is being made at the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. For the first time, 3 different ancient bronze busts of the Roman Emperor Hadrian are being displayed side by side. We get more in this report from IBA's Ariel Sullivan.
They were discovered on 3 different continents, proof of the vast imperial might of the Roman Empire that stretched from England to the Euphrates. The 3 busts of Hadrian are the only ones that have survived 2,000 years. They're on permanent display in London, Paris, and Jerusalem. And now, for the first time in history, they are being shown together here at Israel Museum.
Is this the real man? Is this what Hadrian looked like? Are we being manipulated because this is an official image and there's a carefully coded language symbolizing various virtues or qualities of the ruler? This is something we can explore here.
The world saw him as one of the greatest rulers in history, but for the Jews here, he was ruthless. He ordered the massacre of 500,000 Jews as his forces crushed the second revolt led by Bar Kokhba, destroyed over 1,000 villages in Judea, and even changed the name of Jerusalem to Alia Capitolina and Judea to Syria-Palestine. The display also shows ancient keys and weapons that belonged to the rebels and found in Nachal Hevel. A stone inscription is also part of the exhibit, engraved as part of the welcome of Hadrian to the city in 130 CE. The 2 pieces, found over 100 years apart, have been reunited for the first time at the exhibit.
The story never finishes. All the time that add to the story and embellish the picture we have of the past.
When we planned this display, we felt that to end the year with something that connected the heritage of where we are, you know, the heritage of Israel, ancient Israel in Roman times, with an object from here and an object really from 2 of our greatest counterparts in the rest of the world would be a nice way to end the year.
In money matters, shares were up on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, while the shekel was mixed in foreign currency trading. Here are the late afternoon numbers. Turning to the weather, and the forecast is calling for another rise in temperatures. Let's take a look at the highs and lows for the next 24 hours at home and abroad. And that's all for this newscast. Ari O'Sullivan will be here tomorrow, same time, same channel. Make sure to join him. Until then, I'm Laura Cornfield, wishing you a good evening and shalom from Jerusalem.